Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. You're looking live at PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. I want to thank the old voice of the Gators, Mick Hubert. Hello, everybody. I'm Mick Hubert. Welcome to another exciting day of Florida Gator football. JC?
Yeah.
It's okay, JC. Take a deep breath. There ain't a damn thing you can do about Jim Cantori coming on your TV and telling you to get the hell out of Gainesville, JC.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah. I think I'm going to go south to Orlando the night before because I'm supposedly flying out of Orlando on Wednesday. Wednesday is the sloppy day around here. I don't know, QB. I don't remember the last time we had 75 to 90 mile an hour winds in Hale Plantation.
Yeah, a lot of trees are coming down, boys. Hopefully not one on your back porch.
Yeah, I hope this
You
is
better
still around.
call the tree trimmer, tell them to come cut some of them down before they fall down.
Yeah, well, let's just hope we still have this this time whenever we're back next week. What's the schedule, QB? How you guys gonna plan on it? They still leave it on Wednesday?
As far as I know.
You'll hear something.
I guarantee you Facebook Lives here says, will the team be flying out a day early because of the hurricane?
Yeah.
Haven't heard a thing.
I bet you will today. I bet you by lunchtime today you'll know something, or you'll hear that the plan's going to be announced at 2:30 or something like that. Either that. Or, I mean, why do they have to play on Thursday? Why can't they?
Why don't they move the game? What if they move the game to Saturday?
Yeah, right. I mean, there won't be any problem getting out of here on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. It's just Wednesday is not a good day to fly. You're not going to be able to fly west from here. That's for sure.
Well, you could fly north and then head west,
south, and then yeah. I mean, there's all kinds.
But the planes can get above all that mess. So, anyway, it's it is a mess. So we'll see what happens. But as of now, the team is still scheduled to depart on Wednesday. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, I don't see I don't see why it's a big deal to play the damn game on Friday or Saturday. I know TV has a lot to do with it. TV is the whole reason we're playing it on Thursday, right? It's all because of television. But this is a little bit more important. This storm coming up could be a Category 3 hurricane.
What if they cancel the whole game?
Well, no. I mean, they could say we're playing on Saturday. Well, really, honest to God, there's no problem in Utah. It's all about getting out of here and players' families and things like this. Dude, you got a hurricane, a Category 3 hurricane that's going to be hitting literally 75 miles west of here in all likelihood, according to the spaghetti models and everything else. Jimmy, you got to watch this stuff. I just think this.
JC, I turned it on this morning. I got the same update you did, but there's not a damn thing I can do. I'm not stressing about it.
Well, no, because you're just going to wait for somebody to tell you what you're doing. I understand.
Well, regardless, you just got to go with the flow. And, it's just like I told you, ain't a damn thing you can do about the election, JC. Let it go. Let it go. Good thing JC wasn't a quarterback. He'd be panicking.
Well, I don't know, man. I'm not into storms and winds and rain. I don't like it. I don't like it.
So we got
it's
some
incredible timing, though. It's incredible timing. It
really is. I had no idea there's another hurricane on the east side of Florida, but I don't think it's going to hit us.
No, it's going to Bermuda. So don't go to Bermuda.
Has there ever been a hurricane come through the west and the east and cross each other going across the state? Wouldn't that be something? Well, it wouldn't be something, but wouldn't be good. All right, we got some text on the Titan Mar text, and we'll have Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com in the second portion of today's show. This is from Josh. He says, with Cam Rising rumored to start, do we try to go on defense first and get aggressive with lots of if you win the toss, you defer. Also, QB and JC, updated weather for your trip. Friday is looking like chance of thunderstorms. Hopefully, it doesn't affect your golfing. Oh, there ain't no golf up in the weather's going to be perfect where
No,
we're even
no.
playing golf.
Utah's fine. There's no issue with weather in Utah.
There. I didn't even think there was any chance of cloud up in Park City.
No, what is he saying? Is he talking about Salt Lake City?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he is. I don't know. But I looked the
Can't
other
be
day.
talking. No. Salt Lake City's beautiful, man. Folks, if you're going out there, you're looking at 70, mid 70s, low 60s or high 60s at night. It's going to be fabulous. Fabulous weather.
Here's another text. Want to know if the team's flying out early because
Yeah.
they'll have all those people doing all their meetings today, and they'll let somebody know. JC, did you watch any
Yes, you
college
are.
football over the weekend?
I looked at a little bit of that Notre Dame game. It was kind of like we said it would go. They just ran them over, beat a very outmanned Navy team that's really shouldn't be on the field with them. And I mean, Notre Dame has got a tough schedule. They hope for 9 to 10 wins if they can get it. They're going to play some games in the ACC. I thought they looked the part on in Ireland. As far as the other games go, though, I don't. I couldn't make any assumption or assessment on San Diego State or Jacksonville State, or I will say Vandy beating Hawaii by 7 points was somewhat surprising considering they beat them by 60 just a year ago. And I think Vandy.
But last year and this year mean nothing.
I know, but I think you're looking at a 6-win, rather a 3 or 4 win team in Vandy. I don't know. Maybe they'll be good. But Hawaii scored 28 on them, traveled 5 time zones to do it. I mean, I don't know, QB. If I look and put it this way, if I'm an SEC team and I beat the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors by 7 points, I'd be worried about my defense. Now, maybe Hawaii is really good. I can't imagine.
Well, their quarterback, they can throw it around a little bit. So I mean, look, yeah, I watched a little bit of football, not a lot, not as much as I intended to, but.
Well, you didn't miss anything. I don't think we missed anything, really. Nothing surprising. I mean, USC allowing 28 points, that's not a surprise. San Jose State looks like they had a little bit of offensive success, but Southern Cal's biggest problem is defense. They scored 56.
Yeah, it's just remarkable to me because I think Lincoln Riley's as good as there is offensively, but boy, they're just not very good. Very good.
They don't have that physical Southern Cal front seven that the good teams used to win with. And I don't know if he's just going to try to I guess he is going to just try to outscore everybody, but I think he's going to have trouble with UCLA. That's a physical team from what they've said anyway. And Oregon could score a lot of points on Southern Cal. It should be, for the swan song of the Pac-12, it could be a very interesting season with these teams because USC is predicted to win it, but I don't think it's going to be easy for them because I think teams will score a lot of points. Now, for their part, Caleb Williams had 4 touchdown passes. I don't, it wasn't, He's
the best player in the country. It doesn't matter what he does.
It's what you would expect. I mean, 4 touchdowns, 278 yards.
Yeah. L. Wolf on YouTube says Vandy lost their running back and quarterback from last year. I thought that quarterback was the guy that played last year. I know their running back went to, I think, Kentucky, but they had their offensive. They were fine. They just didn't play good defense. So,
right.
I don't know what this is. Okay. Andy had a Facebook Live here. I don't know what it means. Maybe y'all do. It says Joe Montana's back on the Irish sideline now that Brian Kelly is gone. I don't know what that means.
I couldn't tell you either. I'm trying not to follow as much Notre Dame football as most people do because I just until they join a conference, I just think they're kind of a pain to deal with. I mean, not really though. I mean, they're not winning anything. They just, they're very arrogant at Notre Dame. We don't want to join a conference because we want our independence. Okay, well, I guess that's working out for them for now, but. We'll see if that continues the way these conferences are going.
Got a text on the Titan More text line from Jim. He says, Shane, by the way, did you happen to see the NASCAR wreck? Ryan Priest. I guess it's Ryan Priest. Yeah, it was the worst wreck I've ever seen. I don't know how the guy got out. Did you see it, JC?
No, but it's amazing how these. I think I gave up.
It is clearly the worst wreck I've ever seen.
Okay, but you remember watching that guy. You remember watching Rick, that fella who in Daytona.
Way worse. This was way worse.
A lot worse. Okay. Well, all it took for me was to see that accident, and somehow that guy walked away alive from that. For me to say, I'm I'm done with this. I don't need to look at accidents. I see enough of that every day. I mean, I'm just saying, it's just, to me, it's just a bunch of colors spinning around, and accidents don't excite me like they do everybody else. I'd rather watch Victor Hovland shoot 29 under par or 28 under par and win a golf tournament, because to me, that is something that, is so few people can even do on this planet. And the way he's playing right now, it's too bad the season's over. He won. Vic Hovland, he's a Norwegian guy. He's going to play for the Europeans on the Ryder Cup, which is too bad for Americans. But the way he's going right now, anyway, he won $21.86 million in the last week, 8 days. In 8 days, this guy won over $20 million playing golf. And $18 million of that came as a bonus for winning this tour championship. And QB, they're shooting in the 20 unders. The winners, the two leaders, they got guys in the high to mid-teens scoring at this East Lake. I think you gotta
put me in charge of the tour championship and golf course setup, and that won't happen, because the only way you defeat these guys and give them any trouble is you bring the fairways in and you grow the rough. If you have these big ass fairways, they are going to shoot a million under par. They're that good. The ball striking today is like no other. Yeah, and it's a shame. It's a shame that the season is ended, because Vic Hovland is on a run that we've never seen. Well, and it's a shame that he can't play golf anymore till next year.
Well, until right now, it's
right, but that doesn't mean anything. But just think of how well he's played. Yeah, how the tournaments that he's won and how he's won them. It would be great to see, if there were still 10 tournaments left, to see how he continued to play.
QB, when they have a 540-yard par 4, you're thinking, okay, that's going to be tough. Those guys were inside of 20 feet for birdie on a 540-yard par 4. Think about that, 540-yard par 4. So that's like number 7 at UF, right? Would you say number 7 at UF? Is it 540?
How far?
540 yards.
Yeah, I don't know the exact yardage, but
okay. Think of that hole as a par 4.
Right. Well, the tee boxes that the UF boys play is in the middle, is basically in the fairway of number 7 for 18. And I shot it the other day, and it's like 540 something yards uphill.
Par 4.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm telling you, with technology and the way these guys swing, their swing speeds and stuff, the only way a course has any defense is small fairways and rough.
They always focus, they focus on the speed of the greens. I think guys have figured out
that as well. But if you're these guys have big fairways to hit, they're gonna hit the greens and they ain't worried about the speed. But you put the ball in the rough where you can't control the golf ball, they need to let me be the golf management of the PGA Tour.
Well, you can't win something called the Tour Championship at 28 under. That to me is just.
He started at 8 under.
Great, huh?
He started at 8 under.
Very good. Very true. Okay, so he's
20 under. That.
20 under.
But still.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got a text here on the Titan Mar text line from our friend in the 941 area code. He says, Shane, how much access do you have to the football program? I mean, I guess as much as I want. I heard Napier recently told a group of former players that they could come anytime unannounced and no part of the program is off limits. That is very true. He's told that many times to when they have the reunions or the alumni come back. Yes, dude, he understands the former players, what they've done here. He's all for that. Him being a former player himself at a pretty good
I can't imagine anybody
FCS school.
But tell me when or how or who gave former players issues about coming back to watch the team.
Well, Urban was not big on it.
Really?
Yeah. Let me back up. It depended on who you were, JC.
Oh.
If that makes any sense, which I totally disagree with that, because again, like I told you, yes, Tebow was great, Percy was great, the Pounceys were great. But they forget about all those guys that were walk-ons or special teams players that do everything those guys do that help them get ready for games. It's
Yeah,
just
they have
important.
letters.
Some of my closest friends, I say it every time on this show, some of my best friends to this day are walk-ons that were frat boys or whatever that never played a snap at the University of Florida.
Yeah.
So,
well, you can't. Yeah, you're right. If you got the F, if you got the letter, and you worked and played, and you used your eligibility, and you were a good, outstanding citizen, representing the University of Florida, you should be able to walk through that locker room and on that field. That's just common decency, I think. Yeah. I mean,
Daryl says on the Titan More text line, JC stands for John Cantori.
yeah. Well, I hate the weather issues, man. I hate weather issues. I hate traveling in weather issues. I've had so many nightmarish stories going through the country with weather in Atlanta, weather in Dallas, flying over Texas, flying over the Midwest, weather in New York, issues in, oh man, I know you don't want to hear it. Nobody wants to hear me complain about it, but it just seems to follow me wherever I go. I always deal with this. Now, part of the problem is flying this time of year, man. It's summertime is hectic on the airlines. They don't have, and you've got air traffic control now becoming issues. And, in Europe right now, folks, they're canceling flights every day because of the air traffic control issues. And we're having them here in this country. But don't worry, we got $40 billion for Ukraine. So, I mean, it's okay. We don't need to get the FAA fixed up. We don't care about our infrastructure out here. Maybe someday we do. But, yeah, we've got air traffic control issues. We've got airlines just in havoc. And so hopefully it doesn't make it too uncomfortable for us as travelers. But it's hard to travel, folks. Unless you're set up on charters, it's hard to travel commercial. It is. It really is.
Okay. Brent says, thank the Lord Delta accommodated his flight change. He's leaving tomorrow from Orlando.
Misery.
Yeah, he's getting out early, JC. Maybe you should do that.
Listen, I don't know, man. I mean, I got to travel. I'm talking about 7 days of suitcase living. I got so much stuff to think about: dogs, houses, taking care of all this crap. Everybody's got the same problems if they're traveling for a long period of time, and now we've got this hurricane. I mean, it wasn't even thought of last week. This time last week, it wasn't even thought of that we'd be having issues like this. And here they are. Nope. It jumps up on you, man. It jumps up on you. So, I mean, I went to Publix last night, folks. There was no water on the shelf. Not one thing of what. Well, there's a couple small.
Well, you're not going to be here, so you don't need it.
I know, but it's amazing how folks are on top of this so quickly. That I applaud that. But man, it sure is tough for us. And I thought I was early last night going to the grocery store buying supplies, batteries and water.
What do you need? You're not going to be here, so why you're wasting. Let other people who are going to be hunkered down here get the batteries.
The Carmen's still going to be around. She's not flying out until later in the week, but yeah.
Ruse Ogre State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance option for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Speaking with JC on the Titan More Hotline, we'll have Scott Carter, second portion of today's program. JC, it's game week. I mean, hell, we're a few days away from kicking it off. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think it's so great. The anticipation has been, it's like we've always said, it gets here before you know it. Once it starts, you're halfway through it. You wonder where it's gone. But the summer's been, it's been a long, hot summer, as they say. The dog days are over now. I'll tell you, I really hope we get through in September without any of these weather issues and have a good season. There's 3 home games in September. So, a lot of the schedule, almost half of it, home-wise, is going to be played in the month of September. So let's hope for the best on the weather side there. We've had problems in the past in September with weather. I just think the team, is from what I can see, it's a completely new roster. It's a brand new team. This is going to have no recollection of last year's team whatsoever. And I think fans are excited to see what the look's going to be. And, it'll be played on Thursday night. And it'll be beautiful weather, and it'll be hopefully a very exciting game. I can't understand that Utah is going to start this Cam Rising kid. I just can't.
I still don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Well, didn't you hear that that's possible now?
No. So what they do is you have to come out with a depth chart, okay?
Yeah.
So they release their depth chart. You do that on Monday or Tuesday of the week, but since we're playing early, it came out earlier, like on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And he's there, the Keithy kid, the other kid that tore his ACL at tight end. And now, look, they both may start. But
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
not like in the NFL, you're supposed to release all your information, which I still don't believe they do all that. But I don't buy. I still don't buy it. Don't buy it at all.
Well, I know, but you see it listed, and I still think it's that Bryson Barnes kid that's going to start. I've been saying that, but I'm more concerned about what Florida's going to do. So we'll see. We'll see how many points these guys can score on that defense. That's going to be a challenge. That's going to be the part of the game that I'm more interested in is how Florida can do against that defense, because that's a good defense.
Like I told you, the key to the game is the front seven on defense.
That's fine. That's fine. But you are interested. But I get the key to the front seven and so forth. But this is a real defense they're going to be playing. It's a tough test for the first game of the year. It almost would be like, gee, this is the first time I'd ever want to see them play FIU to start the season, just to see what these guys could do. They're going to be playing one of the best defenses in the country, I think.
Yeah, we'll see. On YouTube, Starling Family says, I called Delta and they haven't done anything. Still planning on leaving Wednesday, according to them.
Out of Orlando?
I don't know. I don't know their departure city. All About Blakely says, JC's worse than my mother-in-law worrying to death about the weather. How many times does he call and bother someone who doesn't care about it this week?
Well, I mean, who doesn't care about it? What?
And Brian says on Facebook Live, hire a dog sitter, JC. Hire a dog sitter.
I got that taken care of.
Okay.
You want to see the dog?
No, the dog is about 1 pound.
No, she's 12, and she's a good girl. Look at this little face. Look at that face. Look at that face. I mean, I'm going to leave that face for a whole week. Okay, go sit over here.
The Starling Family, JC, they're flying out of Orlando, so you're good. You're freaking out about
I'll
nothing.
see the Starlings. I'll see the Starlings in Orlando. Let's get out of there. 2:00.
There's Coco. What's the dog's name again?
Toto,
not Coco. Okay.
Toto.
JC, how did we do on our Peachland Dental picks? I don't think I did very well.
No, you and I both went with the chalk, and the problem with that is, you get these teams that score late, like what happened with. We hit the name. We hit the Notre Dame game. There he goes. We hit the Notre Dame game, and we hit the San Diego State game. So we went 2 and 3. QB.
Rick says his cat can kick JC's dog's ass.
Don't fool yourself. She went after a poodle about 3 years ago. I never heard a noise come out of that dog like that in my life. But she's kind of a fearless little girl. So I had Notre Dame that covered, and I had the San Diego State Aztecs that covered, and you had Jacksonville State, Notre Dame, and you had Ohio. So we both went 2 and 3.
Okay. Chris from Cottondale on the Titan More text line says, I have to finally agree with JC on something. We are wasting our money sending it to Ukraine. We should help our own instead of worrying about others. Now I got to go find something to disagree with JC about.
Well, look, every day you hear about, and this is a sports show, so that's fine. I won't get too deep into this, but you hear about these issues we have with our infrastructure. You hear about the FAA. You hear about transportation issues. And we're still in the 70s. We're still in the 80s. Air traffic controllers, where are they? We don't have enough of them. There's a lot of issues that just do affect our lives. You say you can't do anything about it. Well, if you don't say something, you're right. You can't. You got to do something. You got to say something. People have to open their damn mouth and start making folks aware of the dissatisfaction with what our money, your money, my money is important to us.
Mm-hmm. All right, Tony on Facebook Live. I'm not sure. JC, you may know something about this. I don't, because you were a hot and heavy reporter at TV 20 News.
I was.
Tony says, Shane, what was the story behind your Oklahoma State opener? It was just a one-off, but was there a connection? Did you ever hear? I don't know what he's talking about. Do you know?
No, I know that it took 5
He's talking about he says scheduling wise.
Scheduling?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, not sure about that. But we've had issues with schedules. One of the most famous games Florida's played under Steve Spurrier was that Tennessee game in December that had to be rescheduled because of a hurricane. And then we had a game against LSU not long ago that we thought a hurricane was coming. It was sunny and there wasn't a cloud in the sky, and they canceled it and they had to play the game at LSU. Issues like this happen to us, it seems like.
Yeah, I think so many people are ready to play this game. They're just tired of talking about it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you get that way. There's no doubt. We're at the end of the road. I mean, how many times do you talk about whether or not Utah's quarterback's going to start, whether or not Graham Mertz is going to be good?
Or if the altitude, I did see, and I don't know if people, I meant to bring this up. Billy, when he talked to the press on whether it was Saturday or Sunday, whatever their Monday day was, he said that they did extensive research with clinical people at UF. He talked to all these pro teams that played in Denver, and they said the best thing to do is to get in and out of there as fast as possible. So meaning don't go early, do your normal routine, maybe even go a little later than your normal routine. But like I said, in all my years of playing in Denver, it was never brought up ever. So.
Yeah, I think it's overblown concern now. And let's face it, after the game, teams leave. They don't linger. Isn't that right? Even if a game ends after midnight, they leave, right?
Well, in the NFL, you do, but the Gators are going to stay after the game and fly back Friday. I don't know if it has something to do with the charter or what, but the NFL, you always leave right after the game. So a little concerned, not concerned, but a little different than normal this week.
I got you.
Let's get to this day in sports. This day in sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit. You put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. In 1994, the 94th U.S. Golf Amateur Championship. Who do you think won that in 1994? The USAM.
Oh, the USAM. Tiger Woods.
He's a pretty good player, JC, by the way.
Tiger Woods.
Yes, it would be some guy named Tiger Woods.
Yeah, Eldrick. Eldrick won it then, and then he really made a splash at the Masters in 97 or 8, whatever it was. It's hard to believe that it was that long ago that he won that Masters golf tournament as a teenager, basically, and just destroyed the field. It's just amazing to me how after those issues he had in 08 with Elin and, the golf club and, his first delve into when we started learning about him, he was at 15 or 14 majors then, and we all assumed that beating Jack's majors record was just a formality. And since that time in 08, he's only won one major. And he's got 15, and he'll be stuck on 15 for the rest of his life. Yeah, we thought 18 was coming, but it's not coming.
No, it's not coming. Van Der on Facebook Live says, Shane, describe what runs through you as a Gator game is just starting. I get it. I mean, I don't show a whole lot of. I'm just a laid back dude. I tell you what I love about college football, and I know some people don't, and they hate it. But I love the pageantry of pregame warm up or pregame when the Tennessee, like at Tennessee last year, they're playing Rocky Top and then they play their fight song and then the T splits and they run out of it. Tiger Stadium, all the Golden Girls. I mean, I love that, even though it's not my school. I mean, I like what we do here too. Yeah. What I'm saying is that's my favorite part of being in the press box is I make sure that I watch all of that. I absolutely love it.
I love the Southern Cal, the Trojan guys sticking the sword in the field, everybody doing this, and then the band, the Trojans come rolling out there, getting their fight war song together. It is so fun to watch. I think bands are great. I'm a band guy. I like them. I do. And I think
I love. I mean, if they ever took the bands away from college football, it would be a disaster.
Then it's not college football anymore. But if you haven't seen the Ohio State dot the I before a game, you should try and look at it. It is, but video doesn't do it justice. You got to see it.
Well, I've seen it on video.
But if you ever see it in person, you'll be amazed at how these guys are literally not banging into each other with their instruments and so forth. And they're spelling the word Ohio in cursive as they're walking. It is the most incredible thing. The Big Ten, I will give them this. They're the best in the bands. They do the band thing great. But Texas with the eyes of Texas are upon you. You got the Oklahoma the wagon, right? The wagon state, whatever it is. But that dot the I thing in Ohio, just see it one time. See it one time live, and you'll be absolutely amazed how they don't bang into each other. It's so
we just got a text on the Titan More text line from Will. He says, "So Shane, who is your favorite band?" Well, I love the Pride of the Sunshine, but it's not even close. It's the LSU band.
You like the LSU band? You like this?
I love the LSU band. Absolutely love it.
That's cool. Yeah,
Tony says JC needs a Ukraine hat.
Look, I have sympathies, and I know it's a tragedy. It's a human disaster, and it's awful. And I do sympathize. But you ever walk through San Francisco lately, or Los Angeles, or how about Chicago at 7:30 at night, or New York? How about Baltimore at 9:30 in the evening downtown? You want to be there?
No.
And this is America.
Yeah, we got some text on here about DJ Lagway. Yeah, he had an outstanding first game. All right, we're going to get to Scott Carter, and we're going to actually talk about the Mighty Gators, JC.
Well, I mean, what are you going to say this week that's different than last week? Exactly.
Nothing, but
okay.
Yeah, Brent on YouTube says FAMU's Marching 100 is the best damn band in the land, JC.
They're good. They're real good. Rattle, baby. But the
HBCU bands are a little bit different than the other bands.
I
agree. They're great.
They're great. But when you watch, the drum major when he does his legs up like this and he's prancing across with the thing up. That Ohio State band is amazing.
Mark on here says he's referring to my comment about LSU. He said QB except when they play during we won't back down. However, I remember in the press box watching their drum major, he kept waiting and waiting for that to be turned off. Yeah. So I agree. I don't have a problem with what LSU does at all. All right, JC. Good luck getting to Salt Lake City, my man. We'll be thinking about you.
We'll see you guys there.
All right, that's JC joining us on the Titan More Hotline. Going to take a quick timeout. We're going to come back. We'll be joined by senior writer of FloridaGators.com, Scott Carter. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar, Cornerstone Financial Group. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Attention all Gator fans, Meldon Law is giving away a chance to experience the Florida-Georgia game like never before. 2-night stay at the Hilton on the River, dinner at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, 2 premium tickets to the game, and a football signed by Coach Billy Napier, and much more. Go to the Meldon Law Facebook page and look for the VIP experience for 2. Good luck and go Gators!
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point is the flagship restaurant of the Florida Gators, the hottest restaurant in Florida in the heart of Gator Nation. That's Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Check them out at spurriers.com. Whoa, now we're joined by senior writer of the FloridaGators.com, Scott Carter, who looks like he's sitting in the old dugout area on the visitor side of Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Is it hot down there, Scott? How you doing, my man?
Hey, Shane, it is, man. It's a little warm down here. I figure with the season about to start, I was going to start working out here. So, yeah, man, doing all right, buddy. But ready to see what these Gators look like, after talking about them for all, 8 months.
Yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted about it. Before we get to that, I don't know. We had Eric here talk about the Gator soccer team improves. I think they're undefeated. They beat Stetson 8-0 or something like that. Have you
Yeah.
watched them, or is that a Chris Harry assignment?
I know Chris was at the opening game, which they won. And since then, they played three more. They've won three, tied one. Probably one of the more interesting things. I mean, they've already surpassed last year's win total. I mean, the program kind of hit rock bottom last year. So now Samantha Bohan is she's in charge of trying to get it back to where it once was. They're off to a 3-0-1 start. So quite frankly, that surpasses my early season expectations. So anytime you beat anybody 8-0 in soccer, that's a pretty dominant performance. So she seems to have things going in the right direction. Shane, we'll see if it keeps up. But yeah, good start for the Gators.
Yeah, Andy on Facebook Live says, Scott, brought to you by Mel Law. He says, Scott, great job on the Gators preseason show. Will you be doing more TV during the year?
Maybe once in a while, but not too much. They asked me to come in to do that, and we did that. So I'm not a big TV guy like you, Shane. I mean, you've got your own show, man. I just do my
Well, this is not TV, Scott. This is a podcast.
Podcast. Okay, well,
yes.
Yeah, I don't think what's the old saying? He's got a face for radio, I think.
Face for radio, yeah. All right, so Scott, I mean, I'm with you. I'm absolutely exhausted talking about Florida versus Utah. We just got a text here from Jimmy on the Titan Mart text line. He says, Scott, is there any chance they change the date of this game?
I know they're going to have some meetings today. I mean, we've been through this before, guys, with these storms. We've seen games canceled. We've seen games postponed. Nothing really would surprise me. Obviously, the big key right now, I think, from the Florida perspective is getting out of town in time. But also, you got the consideration, okay, do you really want to board a lot of people with families and stuff here if a storm is going to come right directly over Gainesville? So I'm sure everything's being weighed. So we'll find out more later today or in the week. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly a relevant question.
Yeah, so we'll know more today. So Billy had his weekly press conference. Was it Saturday or Sunday? What day was it?
Well, he had his last one Friday afternoon, and he's going to talk tonight.
Okay, yeah, because the weeks are all screwed up.
Yeah, they're all screwed up. Yeah, I messed up too.
So there's no Gator talk this week, apparently, right?
They did it Thursday, and I think maybe he does have something Tuesday night before going out there. But I know his main media session is tonight at 6:30 after practice, and we'll get him and get his final thoughts on the game. So he's probably like us, Shane. He doesn't have a lot else to say.
Yeah, he's probably tired of it.
Yeah, but the thing that came out over the weekend that caught my attention, still Cam Rising status. They're doing he's going to play routine. I think on this side of the fence, not a lot of people really believe that, but that's the way it goes. I mean, you've seen this, you've been through it. I mean, it's the cat and mouse game of season openers when a lot of people don't know a lot of information.
I don't think he plays. I really don't.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right. So my question, because I've got a bunch of people who've asked questions about the newcomers, and we got a bunch of them. But Scott, in your mind, I'll give you my guy. Give me one guy on the offensive side of the ball that you think can have a huge, huge impact for the Gators to have success this year.
Well, I think it's good for me. It's got to start up front, Shane, because I think they have the skilled players with their running backs and receivers, even though they're young receivers. I got Micah Mazkua has to be a force up front. He has to be to make that running game go, just to help out and solidify that offensive line because you've got so many new faces up there. Kingsley Equicon is the only guy in the middle at center, who was here last year. They lost 45 of 60 starts last season on the offensive line. So that's a lot of new faces. And they've got to do it. So Muskua is the guy that came in with the highest credentials from Baylor. If he gets hurt, doesn't play well, has a subpar season, I think that could spell trouble, mainly in the running game. And the Gators are going to have to run the ball this year, Shane.
Yeah, I think they're going to throw it more than people think too. My guy that I think is going to have a great year. The more I watch him, and I'm just like, man, this dude is legit. Is Trey Wilson, who's now wearing
number 2 list.
He's wearing number 3 now.
Yep.
He was 21 all of camp, switched to number 3. He looks faster and quicker in number 3 as well. I think he's going to have a tremendous year. I could be wrong, but I think he's going to be outstanding.
The last 2 weeks of preseason camp, he started to, as they like to say, flash. Shane, you started to notice him out there, and you just look at him instantly. He's not very big, 5'9", 170, but you look at his lower body, and he just has that build, those legs that you've seen on great athletes before, like those quick cutback kind of guys. That he fits that mold, and he can certainly add an element to this offense that would change the dynamics quite a bit if he's a big time player his first year.
All right, so I'm going to ask you now the question: what player, or you can do a position group, but more of a player, defensively has to have a great year for us to be a much improved defense?
Well, I'm going to start with the guy who's getting a lot of attention in camp because everybody says this is going to be his breakout year, Princely Umanmielen. I think for him to be this disruption to opposing passing games, he's going to have to be a guy who gets 8, 10, 12 sacks, and that will help everything. You know how that works. So he's the guy at the top of my list. But Shane, on defense, when you really think about it, you could probably go 5 or 6 guys because there's a lot more unknowns in some ways on that side of the ball in terms of, we hear about potential, but we haven't seen it yet, the production. So there's some other guys out there, but Princely would be at the top of my list.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I agree with the front 7 is the key.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna list 2 players that I think have to have a huge impact, and it's 88 and 99. Caleb Banks and Cam Jackson.
Yeah.
Well, we have not been good at that position, in my opinion, and I think they have got to play at a really high level for us to be what we want to be on defense. So I'm anxious to see Austin Armstrong's defense in person, in a real game, I should say, because I like the way he coaches. I like his energy. I like how he's aggressive. Again, we're going to take calls about why'd we blitz there? Why'd we do this? It's just part of it, folks. So we'll see. I did hear, and I brought it up a few minutes ago because I've had a million people all summer long talk to me about the altitude issue, and I told them, I said, it's not that big a deal. Nobody talks about it in the NFL. Yeah. Billy addressed that at his last press conference, correct?
Yes, he did, and it's a storyline that. It's just a new storyline you hear once in a while when a team goes out like this. I don't expect it to be a big factor either. I mean, Billy's point was, they talked to their health science people, the training staff, and really to get truly acclimated to a change in altitude where your body, I guess, chemistry or whatever they're looking at in the analytics, it takes like 10 days. So, they're going to be there for 10 days. So you go in and get out, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to go in, and on Wednesday is the plan, and I'm sure they'll do a walkthrough over at the stadium, and you'll have about 24 hours out in Salt Lake City before the game. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's one of those storylines that you just hear about once in a while in these West Coast mountain climate games. But if that's going to be a huge factor, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, Jesse says on Facebook Live, I love how everyone has written the Gators off. I'm ready for the talking to stop and the Gators to make them all eat crow. We'll see. A lot of national people around America think the Gators are going to be terrible. I mean, yeah, everybody. Everybody.
Well, I know they do. I mean, I was a little surprised when I saw Stuart Mandela, the athletic, who's been covering college football for 25 years. He's got him at 3-9. Billy Napier getting fired, which I kind of chuckled there. That would be that's a pretty far-fetched scenario, in my opinion. Shane, we've talked between ourselves about this. I mean, I'm kind of middle of the road this year. I think anything over 6-6 is gravy. But at the same time, I really am intrigued by this season, because there's so many unknowns. And sometimes these are fun seasons if they surprise us. So we'll see where it goes. I think they're trending in the right direction, as they like to say today. I really like the foundation that's being built. I like some of the young players. I see more. I mean, I just see more of a organization, of a plan than I have in a while around Florida football. And I don't, they're not going to compete for the national championship this year. That would shock me even more in going 3-9. But I do think they can be a good team.
I do too. Art says Shane is the team making preparations to leave tomorrow day early. Not as of now. They'll have meetings today and stuff. But you got to remember, there's a lot of logistics. It's not like they can just call up, hey, Delta, get our charter ready. We're leaving today. And then you got to worry about the hotel you're staying at. Is it already full from some other event? So there's a lot of stuff going on.
There really is.
Eric says, I think Mertz will be fine, but I am really looking forward to getting Lagway on campus next year. Yeah, I mean, he had a good year, but here's the thing, and I've said this multiple times on my show, and it's just my theory, my opinion, Scott, of why the national media is so down on the Florida Gators. You've won 6 games the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? Then Mullen won 6, got fired. Billy won 6 last year. And you lost a very athletic quarterback, the 4th pick of the draft. So most people think you have no chance of being any better. And I 1,000% disagree with that. I think this team is light years better than last year, personally. I was talking to Mike Peterson the other day. I saw him. He likes this team a lot. I trust him. I think he's a good football coach. He was a hell of a player. I asked him, I said, what do you think about the quarterback? He goes, he throws completions. And so that's what you need. So we'll see. Got to go play games now. And we do know Utah is going to be a very, very difficult game. Here we have a text on the Titan MR text line before we get you out of here, Scott. This is from Bob. He says, Scott, any particular stories you're writing about this game?
I'm going to play off a lot of what Billy says tonight. I mean, to me, it's a lot. The season opening story is, just going to be about what is this season going to be. And we're going to get our first true glimpse of that with a huge test right out of the gate. I mean, they're going out to play number 14 Utah. And, much like last year, it was in a similar situation when Utah came to town and, Florida pulled that upset and they went from not ranked to number 12th in the country. And I think that taught us that, you got to treat these games, win or lose, with a little bit of perspective. So, if they go out there and win or lose on Thursday, I mean, it's not going to make or break their season, but it is a chance for us to finally get to see what I consider a truly revamped program when you talk about 48 new players on the roster. So the curtain's going to be unveiled and we finally get a peek, Shane.
Yep. On YouTube from J&J Trucking, he says, Billy Napier, Graham Mertz. That's why everybody thinks we are going to be bad. They have Auburn ahead of us, who has lost everyone, and we are so much better talent-wise. Yeah, we're like that's a good. I'm glad you brought up Auburn. Auburn's kind of the same situation we are. Obviously Hugh Freeze, we all know his track record. He's upset Alabama. Hugh Freeze really hardly ever won more than 8 games. You know what I mean? He's a good offensive mind. Their quarterback is the same guy as Graham Mertz. But for whatever reason, they think he's the damn next Heisman Trophy winner. I've watched Peyton Thorne. I've seen them both. They're the same guy. They both came from the Big Ten. But I agree with J&J Trucking.
Well, Mertz is certainly fighting some optics this year because, whenever you come in after a quarterback like Anthony Richardson, I mean, it wouldn't matter who it was. if you're a drop back passer and you're being compared to what Anthony is, you're going to lose that perception battle. But let's give him some time and let's see what happens. I think I'm like you. I think every bit they can be a much better offense, and he can be a better quarterback than what we saw last year if he does his job.
Yes. And like I try to tell people, he's going to throw interceptions. Okay. Anthony threw interceptions. It's just Danny Werfel threw interceptions. Part of the game. And people just got to let him go play. He's extremely smart. He's accurate. The players love him. And the season is not riding on how Graham Mertz plays. It's riding on that front seven on defense in my mind.
Yeah,
so
I agree with that in many ways.
Yep. So we'll see. Should be fun. But Scott, good stuff as always. It's here. It's here, believe it or not. And we appreciate you taking time to join our program. And
yeah, Shane, glad to be here. Looking forward to seeing you out in Utah, man.
Yep, should be fun. Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. We'll see you in Salt Lake City, my man.
All right, buddy. Safe travels,
Yep.
Shane.
Yep, that's Scott joining us, and we appreciate his time. He does a tremendous job at FloridaGators.com. Silverback Concrete is a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that build commercial structures with unrivaled quality. Silverback Concrete, you stand on it, we stand by it. Got a couple more texts here on the Titan MR hotline, and this is from Chris. He says, Shane, why are you so high on Graham Mertz? Because I think he's a quarterback. He was highly recruited. He's got a lot of games starts under his belt. I don't care how he played at Wisconsin. It does not matter. I like what I've seen. I didn't see the spring, but everybody tells me he is night and day compared to what it was in the spring. And so just get that out of your mind. What I like to tell Gator fans, he reminds me of a guy that would play for Steve Spurrier. I'll leave it at that. Brent says you can blame Spurrier and Urban for the hate. If they wouldn't have beat everyone's ass, they would have no reason to hate. Yeah, I mean, that's the great feeling when you go on the road in the SEC is people do hate you. But we'll see. I like Florida's chances in this game a lot. I think they're going to come out and play really, really well. Not an easy place, as I've told y'all. Utah's won 26 of the last 28 home games. So we'll see. Buck says these receivers are wild, like Mertz. Mertz throws a catchable ball. I just this has nothing to do with Anthony because there's so many guys playing in the National Football League now that are like him. The Justin Fields, Trey Lance, all of these athletic guys. Because I really firmly believe that a lot of play callers that aren't great play callers want to rely on the athletic ability of that guy at the quarterback position to get them out of a bind. When you look at the great play callers like the Sean Paytons and the Andy Reeds and the Kyle Shanahan, they dial up plays and they scheme you up. Some of these coaches rely on that athleticism to get them out of bad plays. I think Mertz will get you out of bad plays by changing the play. So there you have it. Yeah, I do like our receivers. I think Caleb Douglas is going to have a good year as well. He's coming back from last year's team. And we'll go from there. Rady says, I can assure most have forgotten more football than you will ever comprehend. I don't know what that means. But anyway, hope y'all enjoyed today's show. Tomorrow we'll have Buddy Martin. We'll get more updates on if the Gators fly out early. I don't know. I mean, like you said, most people woke up today and like, wow, this is a big, big hurricane coming through town. And it looks like it's coming right through Gainesville. So we shall see. We appreciate you taking the time to join our program. I want to thank Scott Carter and JC for joining us on the Titan MR hotline. If you're in the viewing area and you're not in the state of Florida, you don't need to go to Publix, but everybody else better hurry up because JC says it's all going away. So hunker down, get your houses and your family prepared. We appreciate your time and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.